When you think of a war machine, you think of a tank, one big muscle-bound hunk with a huge shaft to show off. These are the tools that stop world wars, destroying buildings like Jenga blocks and shooting out shells faster than a game of Mario Kart. They're so strong, the only thing they dare battle against are themselves. But let's face it, tanks have never really had the limits of their ability tested, so why don't you join me in this elaborate game of robot wars we call Tank Tank Tank. The story starts with nothing. You're a tank, there's the target, now go and fuck shit up. You go into battle and fight wave after wave of huge robots. Why? Space God or some crap, who cares? Just go in there and blow your load faster than an eager prostitute. With something so cool, it's hard to believe they messed up so hugely. There are only really two kinds of battles. Fight 50 or so creatures that all die in one hit, or defeat a giant monster. The first problem is the combat. Your gun automatically targets enemies, but some enemies explode when they're killed, so you want to go for them first. But the gun will always target the closest enemy, and there is no way to switch targets. This is more noticed with larger enemies, as you can knock off specific parts to stop them using certain attacks, but the auto-aim makes it completely luck of the draw. Then there's the movement. You know how tanks are usually pretty heavy and move stiffer than a Resident Evil character? Well, half the tanks in this game hover, making them move like Sonic the Hedgehog on butter. And while we're on the subject, almost all the tanks in this game have no variation. All secondary weapons are copy-paste from other tanks, and the reach of the neutral shot changes, and some of them are just ridiculous. A few tanks have the range of an ejaculate, making some levels impossible with certain tanks. Some vehicles get changes in health bars and strength, but weaker tanks are just given extra lives. It doesn't matter how many lives you give us, if you send a disabled person to fight a boxer, it means very little if you give him 3 chances. And if the tank is bad enough, let's discuss the rival competitors. Enemies are reskinned more times than German torture victims, making it feel like you're playing the same level twice. In fact, you pretty much are. The stages don't even get changed, and like I said earlier, most small enemies die in one hit. Over half the levels in this game feature reused enemies, even the final boss is reused. This 3-headed dragon appears in 4 of the game's 36 levels, with little to no change in his attack pattern. And when they can't be bothered to recolor the enemy, they just put 2 previous robots in the same level. And what's more, throughout the entire game, you're teamed up with a partner tank whose driver is shooting out one-liners faster than Batman at a bar. And when I say constantly, I mean almost every time you hit an enemy or pick up an upgrade.
He's firing! That's it! That's it! That's it! That's it! Bullseye! Keep it coming! Keep it coming! Keep it coming! Keep it coming! Direct hit! Assault machine gun ready! Assault machine gun ready! Direct assault machine gun ready!
I can kind of forgive him, but he's a useful partner. At least when I'm not looking. And with all this auto-aiming and partner who works better when I can't see him, I tried to play this game without looking at the screen. I played 11 levels with the first 11 tanks, and the result showed I passed 2 levels and failed 9, with 6 of those fails being almost successful. Kinda crap, yes, but for not looking at the screen, I would call that more than enough to make a point. But then I tried again, this time using only one of the game's stronger tanks. The second time I beat 5 levels with 6 failures, including 2 near misses. Most of my failures in this test were because I was running into a wall. All you need to do is look up your screen every so often to make sure you're pointing in the right direction. Meanwhile, you can just be watching YouTube on your laptop. But why would you want to play this game while doing something else? Well, every time you beat the level with a tank you haven't used on that level before, you get a medal. You need 100 medals to reach the end of the game. And since there's 36 stages, you pretty much have to play every level more than twice, and over half the levels are already copy-pasted from another level. This is the problem with arcade games on consoles. There's never the same experience as driving around or real shooting. Sure, your DualShock might have a nice rumble, but vigorous shaking in one place isn't enough sometimes.